Okay, Chanukah Sameach, everyone. You know, it's a festive time of the year, but we're here to commemorate the life of a young friend of ours that passed away not too long ago. There are no eulogies during this time period, so we're going to try to give a shiur in his memory for his zechut, so we can all grow together b'ezrat Hashem. Siru nishmat Yisrael ben Margarita. Ruach Hashem tenachelu began Eden. Amen. Ken yeh ratzon. You know, Am Yisrael throughout the generations has always had enemies. We're not short on having enemies. B'chol dor v'dor omdim aleinu l'chalotem. Every generation, we have people that want to knock us out. However, you should know there's two types of enemies that we have. One is represented by the holiday of Chanukah. One is represented by the holiday of Purim. So let's see. On Purim, what was Haman's mission? Haman basically said, you're Jewish, you're dead. I don't care if you're Ashkenaz, you're Sfaradi, you're Persian, Bukharian, Syrian, if you're Hasidic. If you have Jewish blood, you're dead. Even if you went off the path of Judaism, you're anti-Judaism, but you're Jewish, you're dead. That's how Haman operated. Similar to Hitler in Machshemo. Then you have the story of Chanukah, the Greeks. What was their philosophy? Listen, you're Jewish, b'chava, no problem. But stop with all these rituals. You know, stop with this tefillin, and stop with the Shabbat, and kosher. You know, and mikveh, I mean, enough, just come, join us, eat with us, marry with us. Let's have achdut, quote unquote, where you don't have to deal with all your nuances when it comes to your religion. Now the Greeks eventually forced it upon us, and it causes tremendous suffering. But how did they start this whole process? I want you guys to understand how they started it. You know, they made a very simple decree. Back then, no one had cars, obviously. You had animals, ox. And you had to engrave on the horn of the ox, "En lanu chelek ve'elokei Yisrael." We don't believe in God. That was a law. Imagine you had a law here in America. We have to put a bumper sticker, "We don't believe in God," at every car. That was the law that they made. We don't believe in Hashem. Now, why did they make such a law? So there was two reasons. They're trying to influence two segments of our population. Number one, the adults. You see, back then everyone worked the field. Agriculture was a very big business back then. So imagine you're working your land, and you're plowing, and you're working hard, and you're sweating, and you're struggling financially. And as you're there on the ground, you look up and you see your animal, and it says, "There is no God." You know what happens to you in your mind? You're like, yeah, where is God? Why is he not there? Why am I struggling so much? Why am I having a hard time making $1? So you start having doubts about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Very simple. Then there's another reason they're trying to do this, the Greeks. They made this decree because of the children. How is that? You know, today, for any of you that have children, the baby bottles are very expensive. Right? You have Advent and this company, that company, right? I see a few guys nodding their heads. You know what I'm talking about? So now back then they didn't have this. How did the babies drink? They had the horns of these animals. They were carved out, chiseled properly, make sure, and then the water or the milk would be dripping through these horns to the shofar. So imagine the baby is 1, 2 years old drinking from the horn. And what does it say? We don't believe in God. So the Greeks wanted the adults to see it and the kids to see it. That's one simple question, guys. Adults, I see how they're influenced. You know, you're working hard, you're sweating your head off, you're trying to break, even at the end of the month, you're struggling. You start having question marks when you see that sign, "No God." Yeah, where is God? But a baby, when's the last time you saw a 1 or 2 year old baby that knows how to read? Anyone over here? So what were the Greeks thinking? How are they influencing our children if they can't even read in the first place? So, Morai v'Rabotai, I want to share with you a few very strong foundations about life tonight. To do so, I want to tell you guys the story of Yosef HaTzadik, just a review. We're reading the Torah about Yosef HaTzadik. Who knows, how old was Yosef when his life started unraveling before him? He was 17 years old. Now think about it. His own brothers tried killing him. Think for a moment. Your own siblings are trying to kill you. Eventually you're sold as a slave. And you find yourself in a foreign country. In Egypt. Now today, if you're stuck in a foreign country, you have, WhatsApp, you have social media to try to reach your family and friends. Back then, you didn't have any of this. So he has no parents, no siblings, no family, no community. He's in a place where he knows absolutely no one. And once he starts getting settled in, what happens to him? He gets framed. He gets framed. He gets put in prison on false charges. Now guys, how long was he in prison for?
12 years.
12 years. Think about it, from the age of 17 to 29, he was in prison for not, it's one thing if he did something, maybe he made some money on the side, nothing, he didn't do anything wrong. He was in prison on false charges. When he came out, was he suicidal, was he depressed, what happened with him? Came out 100% in control of his mind. Today, you take away a 17-year-old's phone for an hour, he gets suicidal and depressed. Right? Here we're talking about a guy that was in prison for over a decade and he came out 100% normal. How is that possible? Doesn't make sense. Abutai, all of us go through challenges in life. How do we overcome these challenges? So you see, when I was younger, I used to pray at a synagogue with many Holocaust survivors. We think about the greatest tragedy that we've had over the past century or two. The Holocaust is definitely Shem Yirachem, what the Nazis Yimach Shemam did. Murdering so many men, women, and children. 6 million people. You know what that is? Baruch Hashem, we have survivors. They're still alive today. They could tell over the story. To keep the memory alive and make us appreciate the kind of life that we have today. Now imagine for a moment, there's a Holocaust survivor that is at a wedding for his granddaughter. He's at a beautiful wedding hall, and he's sitting there at the chuppah. Just think for a moment, he's sitting at the chuppah, and everyone walks in, different family members, the little children, the talit boy, the ring boy, whatever it may be that people have today. And as this is happening, he starts thinking about what happened to his family in Nazi Germany. He's thinking about how he saw with his own eyes his brother being murdered by the Nazis. How he saw with his own eyes them burning down his business. He's thinking about how his parents were tortured. I ask you guys right now, where is he located, this old man? Is he at the wedding or is he back in Nazi Germany?
Back in Nazi Germany.
He's physically at the wedding, but he's in Nazi Germany. There's a rule, Adam nimtza b'makom shemachshavotav nimtzot. You are where your thoughts are. I'm giving a class over here. I hope you guys are all paying attention, not just nodding your heads. But it could be that one or two of you, as I'm speaking, are thinking about, I got to have a good shawarma after this. And you're already imagining yourself in the shawarma store. So you might be sitting here in this room, but you're really where? You're having a shawarma right now. Because you are where your thoughts are. How many guys here are married? Yeah, you're married. You ever go out with your wife and she complains you don't spend time with her? You're not on video, don't worry. No one knows who I'm talking to. But it happens sometimes, right? The guy takes out his wife to a restaurant and he goes out with her once every week or two and she's like, he never takes me out. No, like, well, why would they say that? Well, they're just like, pitching just to get you angry? Why would women say that? Because it's very common that the guy takes his wife out to a restaurant, but while he's there, he's on his phone, he's looking at text messages, checking up the score, checking up his stocks, answering emails, looking at the... So you're with your wife, but you're not with your wife.
In the metaverse.
The idea is, you are where your thoughts are. And we can have this example in many areas of life. So, here we have Yosef HaTzadik, who was in prison. Yosef lived his life with utmost emunah in Hashem. If Hashem put me in a certain situation, He'll give me the strength to overcome the situation. So here he is, no father, no mother, no siblings, no community. in a foreign country, in a rat hole of a prison. And he's there for over a decade, and he was positive every single day, I'm going to make the best of this situation. That was Yosef's mindset. And every day in prison, positive. To show you how positive he was, you know there were two other people that eventually joined him in the prison cell. Who were they? The baker and the butler. There were two other people. A guy that was a baker in a local bakery, but also served the king. And also a butler, a guy that was serving the wine. They were put in prison. These guys one night had a dream. They woke up in the morning all shaken up, nervous about the dream. So Yosef tells them, Madua penechem ra'im hayom? Why do you look so sad today? The commentators ask, what do you mean, why are they sad? They're in a rat hole of a prison. Why would they not be sad? Like, they're not sitting in a hotel, right? They're in a prison cell. So why is Yosef asking, why are you so sad? It's quite obvious why they're sad. Look what the commentators point out. You know, Yosef asked them, why are you sad today? Today, implying what? Every other day? They were not sad, they were actually happy. Yosef was so positive that the baker and the butler every day were positive in prison. The only time they got sad is what? Because they had a bad dream. Otherwise, they were so positive. Who brought the positivity? Yosef brought the positivity. He was able to convert a prison cell into a quote-unquote chill place. Why? Emunah in Hashem. Hashem put me here, I'll make the best of the situation. Guys, how many of you know the story of Lag BaOmer? What happened Lag BaOmer? You know, during that time period, it's a custom amongst Jewish communities not to get married. From Passover, right? From Pesach up until Lag BaOmer, people don't take haircuts, right? They have different customs that people have. Comes along Lag BaOmer, everyone starts celebrating. So what exactly happened? Why were we mourning for those few weeks? What exactly happened? Who got me out? Rabbi Akiva's story. Anyone knows? Beautiful. Rabbi Akiva had 24,000 students that died. Came along Lag BaOmer, and what happened? They stopped dying. So I want to ask you guys a very simple question. How many students did Rabbi Akiva have? 24,000. All 24,000 died. There's no one else to stop dying. Imagine someone over here has $10 million in his bank account. Okay? Every day, you lose 200 grand. Chas v'shalom. So the first day, 200 grand. Second day, 200 grand. Third day, by the fifth day, you lost $1 million. You work your way up after a few weeks. The last $200,000 you wake up, gone. You open up your bank statement, zero. The next morning you wake up, you lost nothing. Would you celebrate? There's nothing to celebrate. Nothing to lose. So here we are, Jewish people celebrating that his students stopped dying. Well, we're just looking for a reason to celebrate. There's no one else to die. Ali, you hear the question? Oh, but listen very carefully what our sages tell us. So what are we celebrating? That day that he lost his last student, Rabbi Akiva got 5 new students. Now let this sink in for a moment. Here we have a person who had 24,000 students, and now he gets 5 new students. We make a whole celebration out of this? Does this make any sense to you? Imagine you have a university, thousands of students, and all of them protest and leave the school. They all leave the school. They're down to 0. Monday morning, you have 5 people coming in to register. Is that a cause of celebration, Ellie?
Honestly, yeah, because you're still getting a plus.
You're still getting what?
It's not a negative, it's a plus.
You say at least you have something. But let me ask you a question. Let's make it more personal. Let's just say you have 50,000 followers. And tomorrow, someone, boom, you're down to 0 followers. And then me, and this guy, and that guy, we got 5 new followers. Are you going to be happy now?
I mean, I won't be tight, honestly.
What?
Yeah, I'll be tight.
I'll be tight too. What does tight mean? I'm assuming that's not a good thing. You'll be very upset, right? Yeah. So we're talking about followers. Upset. We're talking about students, right? Pretty frustrating. So what is the celebration here? You got 5. Chazaq Baruch. I want you guys to hear what the answer for this question is. We lost a friend over here. Israel was a good friend of ours. Young man. How old was he when he passed away? 31. 31 years old. He had a whole life ahead of him. That's one loss, a big loss. Rabbi Akiva lost 24,000 people. The average person, after having such a devastating loss, you know what he would say? I quit my job. I'm not going to teach Torah anymore. I'm a failure. Let me go, maybe be an Uber driver. Let me work in 47th Street. Let me be a barber. Let me be an accountant, a lawyer. But maybe I shouldn't be teaching Torah anymore. But Rabbi Akiva did not let his mind destroy him. He said, what happened. I'm moving forward. I'm going to move forward. And he got 5 new students. And those 5, all the Torah we have today is because of those 5. Could you imagine had he given up? And guess who one of those 5 was? Who was the famous person of Lag BaOmer? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. What's his story? Back then there was no freedom of speech. He spoke out against the Roman government. They put up wanted signs. They put his picture all over town. Find him. You get yourself a nice prize.
Bag.
And he had to hide in a cave for over 10 years. He hid in a cave for 10 plus years. Did he come out depressed? Did he come out... He came out 100% in control. He authored Zohar HaKadosh, the most Kabbalistic book we have today. The foundation of Kabbalah was authored by him. A man that was in a cave for 10 years. Power of the mind, ladies and gentlemen. This is the power of the mind. We see this throughout history. That people fall, and with the power of the machshava, they're able to get themselves back up. But it's even more than that. Scientific studies show you that if you have 2 guys with the same disease, chas v'shalom, you have A and B, both diagnosed with the same disease, both in the same age bracket, both weight, same thing, everything's the same with the 2 of them. Now one of them says, you know what? I'm going to overcome this. Bezrat Hashem, I'll do all the treatments, I'll do this, I'll do that. And the other guy says, I'm going to die, my life is over. That they both have the same exact disease and have the same treatment. Who has a greater chance of survival?
The positive mind.
The guy with the positive mind. You have positivity, you're exuding positivity to your entire body. It's a hafla v'fela how powerful your mind can be, Rabotai. We don't realize how powerful it is. In fact, you know the placebo effect?
Yeah.
Explain it to us, Eddie. Dr. Eddie, b'chavod.
It's the same case like you mentioned, 2 people having the same disease, for example, and you give one person actual medicine, the other one you just give like Tylenol or something like that. And
So one guy gets real medicine, one guy gets a placebo, gets a sugar pill.
sugar pill, right?
Right? Nothing bad. You have 10 guys with a headache. 5 get real medicine, 5 get a placebo. You know how they all feel afterwards? Shtabach Shema, unbelievable, give me more of these. Right? But you got nothing. He got nothing. The answer is because he thought he got something. Therefore what? His mind sends a signal, you should be feeling good in a few minutes. If anyone that has a little child at home, if your child ever falls and he gets a little boo-boo, what do you have to do? You have to kiss where? Exact location that has the boo-boo, right? I tried this with one of my kids once. He fell down. He got a little bump over here. He starts crying. I'm like, come. Where did you fall? He points here. I kissed him here. No, Abba, not there. And I kissed him here. No, not there. I kissed him there. He stops. Now what? Did my kiss really help him out? Psychologically, he's trained to think that's a healing method. Power of the mind, power of emunah, power of whatever you want to call it. How you could control, not just children, I'm talking about adults as well. When you have a positive outlook, you could change everything. You don't realize how powerful you really are. Be positive. People are always complaining. Try to be positive. I know everyone has their own struggles. Financially, shalom bayit, God forbid, health, chas v'shalom, all these problems are real problems. No one's belittling it. But a person can take the approach of let me just destroy myself, or say let me build myself up again. Let's get back to the Keren HaShor, the Hanukkah incident. So the Greeks made a decree: we don't believe in God on the horn of the animal. So we said it makes sense why an adult could be affected, but what about children? I want you guys to understand, everything a child hears or sees has a tremendous impact on that child. I tell it to parents all the time. You can be screaming at your wife, she's screaming at you. Nah, my child's only 2, he doesn't understand. Trust me, he's in the Neshama understands. You're cursing at each other, chas v'shalom. You don't realize how it's affecting his neshama. The Greeks understood that even if you just put the words, inappropriate words, we don't believe in God in front of a child, it affects him. Some way, somehow it can affect him.
Subconscious mind.
The subconscious mind. I'll give you guys an example. Show you how powerful your mind really is. You have a person jogging in Central Park. Suddenly someone comes from behind, knocks him to the ground. Right? Smother him or her. They rob whatever they have and they run away. The next morning you see, signs up in the street, wanted. There's a sketch of this person that mugged this individual. Okay. A few days later, the guy's caught. You see the mugshot of him. You see the real picture and you see the sketch, like, wow. Perfect details. The person that was mugged described every scar, every birthmark, every detail of the mugger. How is that possible? Huh? No, it could be the Baruch Hashem, the worst memory. That's not positive thing. What, you're jogging and someone comes and knocks you from behind? All you need is, as you're falling, a split second you see the person's face. Right before he smothers you and punches you in the face and you're knocked out. That split second is enough for the professionals to take you back to that moment. They take you back to that moment and you're able to describe everything, because everything is in your subconscious. You're sitting in this room right now. Who can I choose of here? What's your name? David. Can I choose you or should I choose Liran? Liran is a... David. Close your eyes for a second. Okay? Sitting next to you is Daniel, right? What color hat is he wearing? Baseball cap. Pink. Okay, everyone knows that. That's his brand name. That's his brand color, right? But if you were to describe his shirt that he's wearing under his leather coat, what is he? What kind of shirt is he wearing?
Black.
What?
A black shirt.
What does it say on his shirt?
I'm not sure. I didn't see
Did you talk to him today? You didn't talk to him today. You should know, anyone you talk to, anyone you see, every detail of that person is in your memory bank. Most of the time you don't remember because we don't care. It's insignificant to us. But there is a koach of retrieving that memory when necessary. So in reality, in a perfect world, I should close my eyes and describe every single person what they're wearing today. Because it's insignificant to me, I don't care. But there's some ladies, when you go to a wedding, they remember what they wore, how they wore it. Didn't she wear this 6 months ago at the other party? They remember every detail. Because maybe it's important to her. And there's some guys, when it comes to watches, they think, oh, did you, whatever's important to you, remember. But everything you have everything you see is in your memory bank. So the Greeks understood, you want to mess with the Jewish way of life? Teach your kids from a young age is no Hashem. Think about it, that's what's happening today in the public school system. At the age of 4, 5, 6, take these little kids, contaminate their mind with all these ideologies. So they're confused about who they are, what they are. And then when they're older and you try to teach them a little bit about their heritage, like, well, you're a fanatic, they think you're fanatical. Because they've been taught a certain way. This is the way to get to people, get them from a young age. So Rabotai, the story of Chanukah is all about telling us the koach HaMachshava. And look, the Maccabees were outnumbered big time. We're talking about you had a whole army of Greeks and you had a few guys, some tough guys like over here, strong guys, Baruch Hashem. But I want to see you guys start up with the whole army.
Yeah.
But they had, Josh, you have your back, Baruch Hashem. Right? You have people that had the emunah. They had their emunah in Hashem. And they said, we're going all the way. But I'm not telling you guys to pick any fight, Chaz v'Shalom. What I'm telling you is that in life, there's many times you guys want to make changes. You know how times you're inspired to change. A few of the guys told me after they lost Israel, so Rabbi, we want to change, but I can't. It's not in my hands. I can't change. Like, why can't you change? I just can't. In my life, I'm already 30, I'm 40. I can't change anything. You don't realize, if there is a will, there is a way. Rabbi Akiva, who I mentioned before, how old was he when he learned Aleph Bet? 40 years old. Most of you guys are under 40 years old over here. That means, if you already know Aleph Bet, you're ahead of Rabbi Akiva. If you already know Aleph Bet, you're ahead of Rabbi Akiva. Because he went to sit down and learn Aleph Bet at the age of 40. But there's a rule. If there is a will, there is a way. If you want Rabotai, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. Nothing could you could only stop yourself. I know some of you guys are friends with him and also with Yosef ben Angela. Alav Shalom. I want to share an idea I said over at his memorial a couple of months ago. I told over to his friends as follows. You know, in Hebrew, how do we say person? Daniel, how do you say it? Adam. Adam. Now, what other word in Hebrew sounds like Adam? Adam. You sound American. You just changed from Adam to Adam. I said, what other word in Hebrew? Dam. Very good. What else? Adama. Very good. Adam. Adama. Right? What does Adama mean? Ground. Borei pri Adama. Right? You eat a banana. Borei pri Adama. Now, Adama, that means we're called earth, ground. That means when we say you're Adam, it means what? You're earth. Now, why are we called earth? Let's go. Who can help me out? Why are we called earth? Yes, Sadik in the back. Oh, so he's telling us because the first man, Adam, was created from the earth. He had no mother and father. He was the first man in creation. He was created from the earth. His wife was created from him, and everyone else came from a father and a mother. But 1 second. Where's your neshama from? Where's your soul from? Your soul is from? From Shamayim, from heaven. So every body over here, every single one of us is comprised of two parts. You have a physical and a spiritual. Your body is a physical, your neshama is a spiritual, the soul. So the body originally came from the earth. The soul came from the heavens. Why are we called earth? Why not call us heaven? Why are we called Adam, which means earth? Why not call us heaven? Shamayim. You hear the question? Yeah, you follow the question? Mm-hmm. What do you say? What's the answer? Give me a good, no, come on. What do you say? Let's go. Anyone? Oh, so Daniel is telling us in a very tough fashion. I like the way he did it. He has his hand like this, because we're going to end up in the dirt, right? And that's true. So Daniel is telling us we're called Adam, earth, because the first man came from the earth, and all other men are going to be going back to the earth. But Daniel, isn't that like a little depressing? I have to know I'm Adam, I'm going back to the earth. Why not give me a loftier, like the neshama goes back to Shamayim, right? Why not a more loftier statement? Now the truth is you're right. Your reasoning is 100% true. It's a reminder, don't be such a hardy person. Don't be a big shot. Because every single one of us is ending up in the same place. So have humility. Be a Baal Chesed. Help people out. Don't insult people. Listen, don't think you're all that. It's here to humble us. I agree with you 100%. But there's another reason why we're called Adam, which means earth. And I want you guys to hear this. Anyone here has a backyard where you plant anything?
I have a...
Yeah, what do you plant? Grapes. Anyone else? What do you plant? Tzaddik, what do you plant? Nothing? You ever planted flowers, roses? What's going on? Cucumbers, tomatoes? Huh?
Flowers.
Okay. So here, Daniel, Baruch Hashem, plants flowers. Right? Let me ask you, what's the key to get the final product? What's the process? Let's go. Help me out. You gotta plow the land. You gotta plant the seeds. Constantly water it. And what?
Sunlight.
Exposure to the sun, right? 4-step process. Plow, plant, water, and sunlight. Now imagine you plow, you plant the seeds, but you don't want to give water every day. The poor earth has to drink water every day. So Sunday you give water, Monday you give some chocolate milk, Tuesday you give some beer, Wednesday you give arak, vodka. Is it going to help you get the final product?
No,
Obviously not, right? But what if, no, Be'emet, you really give water every day, but you were, a real hardcore Sephardic Jew over here, and you're scared of Ayn Hara. So you don't want your neighbor to see what you're planting over there, so you put a nice Persian rug over your earth. Are you going to have a final product? Obviously not. In order to have the final product, Liran, what's the process? You got to have plowing, planting, watering, and sunlight. Now, do you have the flowers tomorrow morning? Obviously not. Depending on what you're planting, it can take weeks, months, maybe a year or 2 or 3. But there's a process. Hashem says you're called earth. You know why? Just like the earth, you're a bundle of potential. In life, you got to work hard. You got to plow. You got to plant your seeds. What are your values? Where do you want to see yourself in a few months, in a couple of years? What are you planting? You got to constantly water it. And you got to make sure you have the exposure to the right people. Are you going to become a tzaddik overnight? Obviously not. But when you take this process of working hard, of planting those seeds, of constantly watering, of being around the right crowd, eventually you're going to sprout into something special. I'm not just talking about religion. It can be in education, in business, in every area of life, of shalom bayit, of chinuch yeladim. Life, you got to work. There's no shortcuts in life. No shortcuts. You got to work. And this, Rabotai, is a message. It's all in your mind. If you want to do something, you will succeed. If you want to choose a path, you will succeed. Some people say, Rabbi, it's impossible for me to wear tefillin every day. Not possible. Rabbi, for me, forget about kosher. If you want, you could do it. It's not so difficult. It might be a little hard in the beginning. It's taking you out of your normal comfort zone. But once you start doing it, you're feeling good about yourself. So, Rabotai, the best thing we could do for Yisrael's memory, for Israel's memory, is to start being in control of our mind. You control what you want to do in life. I always tell the guys that we have, how many parts of the neshama? Let's go, you know it. You look like a big Kabbalist. Huh? How many parts of the neshama?
5.
3, 5. Anyone else?
5.
It's not 3 or 5.
3 or 5. Ellie, you want to take a guess?
8.
I was joking about the people leaving your Don't worry about it. You look like you're disturbed. Huh? So how much did you say?
8.
8. So we have actually 5 primary parts of the neshama.
So what's the secondary one?
5 primary are what? I'll tell you what they are. You have the neshama, which is associated with your brain. Ruach associated with your emotions. Nefesh associated with your liver, your actions. Then you have 2 that surround you, like your aura. So there's 3 that you're constantly using all day long. Thought, emotion, action. You guys drive? You drive on the highway? Yeah. Yes? What's your name again?
Ilan.
Ilan. Beautiful name. So listen carefully. Ilan, you're driving on the highway and someone starts honking at you, starts cursing at you, and cuts you off. What's going on in your system? Let's go. Nothing. He's chill. He lets the guy go. Yeah? Do we have friends of you that can testify to this? Huh?
You gotta ask this guy right here.
He drives with him a lot?
He comes out the car.
He comes out. So 1 second. Tzaddik, what's the name over there? The guy right next to you? Eitan. No, what are you doing? What happens in such a situation?
Sorry, what was the question?
What was it? You're driving on the highway. Someone honks at you, looks at you, curses at you, cuts you off.
Road rage.
What? Shem Yilachem.
What happens so automatically though?
Oh, that's his automatic reaction. Oh, automatic reaction.
Everyone's different.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. So he has road rage. Or he used to have road rage. Hopefully you're not going to do it from now on. Now, why is that? Because naturally, the first thing that kicks in is what? Eitan? Is your emotion. Now, if you're a person with a purpose in life, you have a family, you have a job, you have a goal, then your intellect says, yo, chill, let this chamor go, and you just drive safely. To succeed in life, ladies and gentlemen, you got to make sure that your intellect controls your emotions. Once you let your emotions in control, you're done. Road rage, fighting with your husband, with your wife, beating up your kids, chas v'shalom, whatever it is. Why? Because you don't control yourself. If your machshava, guys, is in control, you guys are all going to be successful in life. But if you let your emotions be in control, you won't be successful. So one thing tonight I want you guys to go home with is to realize your potential. You're going to have frustrating situations, you're going to have challenges in life. Do you give up or do you get stronger? We learn from the story of Yosef HaTzadik, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. You had the potential to overcome any challenge. Yosef was in prison for 12 years, for over a decade. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai in a cave for over a decade. Trust me, for those of you who are married that can't see their mother-in-law, you can go to your mother-in-law for Shabbat, nothing's going to happen. You know, you can go see your brother-in-law or your sister-in-law, nothing's going to happen. I can't sit at the same room with them. But it's a bar mitzvah, there's 500 people there. I can't be in the same room. Cut it out. Stop creating scenarios and making things worse than they are. Baruch Hashem, we live a good life. We're all going to have challenges. But look at the good that you have. And when you have the challenges, first of all, you have rabbis, you have rebbitzins, you have friends that you can talk to. Never keep things to yourself. But the key thing tonight, Rabotai, for Israel's neshama, everyone take upon yourself one extra mitzvah. But I always tell people, don't do it for the person that passed away. Do it for yourself. Because one day after 120, we're also going to have to go there. Take upon yourself one extra mitzvah. One extra thing. Men and women, both of you. Figure it out what you have to work on. Either to hold back from an avera or do an extra mitzvah. And when you do it, you say, Le'ilun Nishmat Yisrael ben Margarita. But really do it for yourself, not just for him. But him is a little bit motivation for you. And I hope and pray, B'ezrat Hashem, that we can take this message to heart, to realize the power of our minds, to never give up in life, to always be strong, to always try to overcome the challenges, never be scared of taking on a new mitzvah, to fight off an avera. And B'ezrat Hashem, every single one of you should be blessed. It says, Al tiyeh birkat Edo kara b'einecha. It's Chanukah. I'm going to bless you guys that B'ezrat Hashem, you should have the inner strength to overcome your challenges in life, to B'ezrat Hashem make all the right decisions, and we should B'ezrat Hashem take upon ourselves mitzvot in memory of Yisrael ben Margarita, and we should be zochei desit chiyat hamitin b'mera b'yameinu, amen ve'amen.